Welcome to episode 574 of Salsidoparanormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I am talking about haunted places in the U.S. As always, you can find all episodes of the show along with links to social media and other ways to contact me on the podcast page, and that is salsidoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or accounts of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. And as of now, it looks like that will be happening again next week in one of next week's shows. So looking forward to that. Thank you all for being here and listening, whether you are here for the live streams on Discord, or if you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds, or on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting. There you can hear replays of the show, of 2 episodes of the show, every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right before Troubled Minds Radio comes on. As always, I want to thank Michael Strange, host of Troubled Minds Radio, for having me on the network and putting my shows there. If you'd like to help the show, you can do that in a few different ways. You can always share the show with others and rate and review it on your favorite podcast platform. You can also find books I've written, paranormal fiction and nonfiction, over on Amazon. And you can also make one-time donations through PayPal. Support is never expected, but always appreciated, as there are expenses in making these shows, from equipment to research materials to travel expenses in some cases. So I think that takes care of all that. So as I always like to say with these shows, when it comes to these places that are said to be haunted or have paranormal activity, please check them out. As far as if you want to go there today, the things change over time. So whatever information that I find in these articles may not be accurate as of now. So just make sure that when you go, you're not trespassing in any way for various reasons there, and respect the privacy of anyone who happens to be working in or living in these places, if they've changed hands over time or just changed sort of how they operate, whatever the case may be. And we're still in Alaska. Have a few more places to go there. I think about 4 or 5 more places. I forget now. I have them all written down though. So, so yeah, that's the plan for this episode here. And let me get to the document that I have set up for the show. This first one, at least we're going to start with, let me see here. Can't remember how long this one was, but we'll at least start with the, let me see here, the Alaskan Hotel. It's said to, it's in Juneau, Alaska, and it's reportedly haunted by the ghost of a woman who passed away in one of the rooms. That is extremely common, unfortunately, in a lot of places. Legends and all that, they seem to focus on women dying there. I don't know why exactly that has to be, but that is the case with a lot of places. The title of this article, this is from onlyinyourstate.com. Title reads, "Stay overnight in a 107-year-old hotel that's said to be haunted." And then it has at the Alaskan Hotel in Alaska. So, let's see here. It says that at the start of the 20th century, the town of Juneau in Alaska was a frontier mining camp. So there are very few hotels in the area at the time. The population the population nearly doubled between 1910 and 1920. So this hotel that we're talking about here, the Alaskan Hotel, opened in 1913, and thought to be one of the best hotels along the Pacific coast. Since it opened, thousands of people have stayed there, and a few, of course, as a lot of these articles say, have never left. So apparently, it was built in 5 months' time, and it opened. Was basically the area was really excited about it opening in, again, 1913, in the fall of that year. It's over 107 years old now. I'm guessing this is from a few years ago, at least. Let me see here. Yeah, a couple of years ago. So it's almost 110 years old now. So let's see here. Getting into the article here. It's the hotel has also had some tough times over the years. It was even condemned in the 1970s, but it was restored and it's now on the National Register of Historic Places. You find that with a lot of these places we talked about because they're at least in a lot of cases they're 100 or more years old, and not that I know what exactly it takes to get on that register because I haven't looked into that. Maybe something to do at some point. It might be good to know. It says that the today, and of course this is from 2021, visitors can stay in the old-fashioned hotel rooms there. There's a bar and as well there. And let me see here. Also, there's a lot of stories of paranormal activity. And there was one recent incident that the article says is truly terrifying. It says that the current owner, as of this article, Betty, the first name is Betty, recently had or told about a weird experience where a young Navy seaman, so sailor, I guess you could say, wanted to stay in room 315 because of its rumored, paranormal activity. So not long after that, the police were notified of a disturbance at the hotel. When they got there, they were rushed up to the room, and they found the door was locked. And let me see here. So, looking at the article here, talks about how unfortunately the man had died, and they basically found the room in really bad shape. So I'll leave the article there for you to all to check out the details of that. But over the years, many guests have complained about paranormal activity there. Employees have heard strange sounds and felt odd presences, and but this is apparently the case of this Navy seaman is still a mystery. So it says that there's been people that have come to the hotel because of the paranormal, as that man did. So that's part of the mystery there, I guess. Some people come just for the paranormal as well. So it says that talks about the hotel and the reservations it's accepting. So yeah, that's it for that article. It doesn't talk a lot about specific things, but a lot of times when I find that with articles, I'll find something similar to that, and then I'll find another article that just goes into all kinds of detail about a lot of activities. So it's hard to say for sure what the case is, but again, this is sort of modern folklore. Not so much I don't know about the man that died there in that room or near that room, but just as far as the stories go of experiences, at the very least, the people that haven't been there and had those experiences, this is modern day folklore in a way, legends and stories. So this next article here is from ourparanormalworld.com, and it's the the title just apparently is The Alaskan Hotel. And it's one of the oldest still operating in Alaska. So let me see here. It was, they talk about the history of the hotel a bit, basically the same stuff that I already mentioned in the beginning here. And there was, eventually the hotel turned into a different location during its time, actually during the dry years of Prohibition. Then after that, it became a. So here's another connection to the show we did on these places. It became a brothel, and but that was closed in 1977. So that's a more recent times. 1970, yeah. And then after that, of course, the hotel was bought by the current owner, or as of the previous article there. And so yeah, this article mentions the same owners, and they began restoring it to the way it was when it was first constructed, and it was opened in back up again not long after, basically 1978, around there. So let's see here. The article says that the hotel provides a very special experience, and basically just looking at rooms the way they used to be. And now we're getting into the paranormal activity here, which is what we wanted. See, this is what I was talking about earlier. The first article didn't mention a whole lot, but there's paragraphs here talking about this location. So, a couple anyway. The most frequently encountered and most famous ghost in the hotel is that of someone named Alice. Rumor is she was the young wife. Legend says that she was the young wife of one of the original owners. And the story says that they went on a trip to, related to his gold claims. And let's see here. Oh, so her husband went on a trip related to his gold claims. She didn't go, and was gone longer than expected. And there was, of course, parts of Alaska are very dangerous places. Naturally just dangerous. A lot of animals and the cold and everything. And so when he didn't come back, she was afraid that he might have passed. So eventually, she passed away, and let's see here. But it turns out her husband came back after she had passed, and let's see here. Oh, so apparently he came back and murdered her on the spot due to some choices that she made that he didn't care for. And hopefully that's just a legend, and doesn't talk much about the activity there other than just that story. But it does say that there were, basically it says the ghost of the spirit, or the ghost of this person, is encountered there. So I'm guessing apparitions and all those kinds of things. So that's a short one. Some of these do end up being fairly short. Others are longer. And so we'll move on to the next one here, because it looks like it's not too long. And so yeah, but another hotel with a lot of dark history in a way. You find that in hotels just in general. That's not even any kind of a negative, not meant to be a negative comment on the hotel itself or hotels in general. But there are things that happen there that, because of the nature of what it is, just a place where people can go and stay and then leave again. You have that happening there at times. So, but again, that was just a legend, so doesn't say that there was any proof of it. So hopefully that was the case. But even then, with that, despite that being a legend, is that because it was just sort of, that was a story that people thought had happened, and they tried to use that to explain their experiences, or again, sort of like other locations I've talked about before, did that lead to the creation of a thought form? All these people hearing this story, and over time, the energy collected and actually manifested this apparition or the sense of a presence at this hotel. So, always hard to tell, I think. Now, the next place we have to talk about here, from what I've found, it actually does not exist anymore as it was. This is the Jesse Lee Home for Children. That was Logan. Don't know why she had to comment on that, but anyway, that's my cat. This was an abandoned children's home in Seward, and it was said to be haunted by the spirits of former residents who were not treated very well there, apparently. But again, that's what is thought to be the cause of activity there. This first article is from onlyinyourstate.com, and the title reads, "Stay away from Alaska's most haunted building after dark, or you may be sorry." And the article starts talking about the town of Seward in Alaska. It's on the Kenai? Yeah, I'm not sure. Kenai Peninsula. It's on the coast. And there's a lot of restaurants in the area. So, and of course, there's this location. So, this used to be a home for children. And the home for children, the Jesse Lee Home for Children in Seward, Alaska, has a lot of legends attached to it and stories attached to it. And there are reports of activity even after the place was closed down. It was established in 1926, and it's the second of 3 child welfare. Wow, I couldn't say that. Institutions in Alaska so it's actually, there's a few different places that had that name. That was the second one of these locations. So the first one was established in 1890 in a different area. And then, but this location is in Seward. It was moved to Seward because of the previous town was the largest transportation center at the time, even though many of the residents were from the Aleutian Islands and the Seward Peninsula. So it was a boarding school that housed tons of a lot of young kids affected by various epidemics that swept across the state or the area in the early 20th century. And so you see this too with certain places when there's any kind of an epidemic or sickness that goes around, especially in the past, before there was much of any kind of modern medicine, so to speak, that would happen. So let me see here. The place did have a lot of good times. Basically, it did house people that were relatively happy overall, and it had some relatively famous people that actually spent some time there as a child that were important to Alaskan history. There was an earthquake in 1964, and that caused this destruction of this location. And the following year, the third location, this third Jesse Lee Home for Children, was established in Anchorage, Alaska. So after the earthquake, the local Methodist church owned the property, in Seward for a few years before eventually selling it. So, and then it sat abandoned for a while, and that's where the rumors started about it being haunted. There's reports of paranormal activity from those who step on the property or drive down the street at night. So apparently there have been sounds heard in the area of children giggling, mysterious lights, ghost-like silhouettes, feelings of sadness on top of many other things as well. So this activity has led a lot of people to consider this the most haunted building in Alaska. There are also sounds of jump ropes tapping the sidewalks, footsteps in the distance, and happy cheers of children heard there as well. So let's see here. The article says it's almost as if there are lingering apparitions that are all happy and to be there still, even though it is creepy, especially if we're not used to this kind of thing, which most people probably aren't. These things, when you can't see the people that are making these sounds, or at least not well, or they disappear, there's definitely understandable that'd have kind of a creepy reputation as well. So that's the first article. I'm only going to just skim over this second article here because we don't have a ton of time. Actually, it's not that big of an article. So talks about, and I've seen other articles. I should mention where this location, this building, has since been torn down. And so apparently, this article also mentions that even though there are rumors and legends about the place being the people that were in this location being treated poorly, those are just that. Overall, they're just legends and rumors to explain the hauntings. Whereas from what people have been able to find and experience there, the location was, the people there, the children there were mostly happy while they lived there. Obviously, that the epidemics would change things, but just in general, from the articles, I did find a couple other articles. So there, and this does talk about that those there was not counting the epidemics, there was the earthquake. So yeah, it talks about the location being rebuilt and turned into a museum. So I guess that means that's the modern building that's there now, or at least more recently. But it's said that the building, this museum, is said to be haunted by the children that passed on the day of this earthquake, I'm guessing. Doesn't really go into a lot of detail on that, but so there have been a lot of reports of sounds of laughter, singing, and so those kinds of things coming from the location. So, and that's where that article ends. So that's actually good timing. So yeah, it just sounds like a lot of activity, possibly, hopefully residual going on there. It's always hard to tell, but as I always say, how do we know exactly what spirits will do and what place they'll want to be in once they become a spirit? I don't think we can know for sure. So places that have good memories, probably the spirits go back there when they can. So anyway, thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you all in the next episode of Salsidoparanormal. Take care.